Hello students, welcome back to Unix programming classes. So in the previous session, some of the Unix commands we have gone through. Next concept is about directing output to a file. So transferring the output, directing the output to a file. So transferring the output to a file. So Unix has simple symbols which are called as meta character for creating and storing the information in files. So instead of viewing the output of the ls command on the terminal, you can save the information in a file. You know about the file creation and all. So an output file can be created, and whatever the data after execution, data comes after execution, that can be transferred to a common file. So instead of seeing the output on the terminal, you can see the output on the, you can transfer the entire output onto the special file and or separate file, I mean separate file, and the contents can be viewed later on by executing or by viewing the particular file. So the symbol right uh, arrow mark, right arrow, okay, it's not exactly the arrow mark. So uh, it is called as chevron character. Okay, the symbol which I am highlighting here, please go through. Hopefully it is editable, highlightable. Yeah, so this character, just check the character which I am highlighting, which is called as right chevron. Okay, right chevron character. So this is used to transfer, this indicates transfer the content from one location, left hand side to right hand side, I mean left hand location to right hand location. So here what happens is, along with ls command, we have used that chevron character, and we have in front of chevron character an argument written that is called as list. So what it does is, so ls command which simply lists out all the files of a particular directory, file names, right? So which we don't want to see on the terminal. Instead, the list should be created and passed on to a file called as, what is the file name now? List is the file name. That's it. Very simple thing. So just direct this is right chevron character simply redirects the contents from a terminal to a file. So instead of displaying the output of the ls command on the terminal, just transfer it onto a file. What is the file name? List is the file name. That's it. Okay, very simple thing. So for programming with a shell, interactive shell, here variable declaration, assigning the value to the variable, and that can be done. So x equal to 5, which stands for, and x is a variable which holds value 5, or 5 is assigned to x. Then if you want to see the content of variable x, you can use the command echo. Please remember, echo stands for printing. In Unix programming, echo stands for printing. ECHO, echo, which stands for printing, which is used for print purpose. So print command or echo command. So dollar followed by from that is the prompt comes automatically. So just type echo, it's a keyword, followed by space, followed by, so access the content of x. If you simply print simply provide x, x will be printed. You don't want to see that x. Instead, what value stored inside the variable that you want to check, right? So use $x. Please understand. So you just want to access the content from location x. So what you are supposed to do, you have to use dollar symbol, so $x, which will give you the value. Okay, next is the exit command. So exit command is used to signing off, okay, or log out. For that purpose, exit command is used. Again, you will be asked for login if you log out. So you have to use the, you have to give your username, you have to provide your password, then you have to click on enter, then only the OS you will be taken to the uh, terminal or wherever. Okay, so manually you can exit, you can use the command exit, which will terminate. the operation. So next is it can be operated over internet. As you are aware of, all the operating system that these days they are supporting, they are compatible with internet, right? So internet, whenever the concept of internet comes, TCP IP concept comes, transmission control protocol over internet protocol, which you will be studying in computer networks. Okay, you have a subject computer network and security, I think, right? About this you will study. Okay. Next is Linux and GNU. So all the Unix finally turned commercial. So the implementers, Richard Stallman and Linus Torvalds, they had different ideas. So Linus Torvalds is called as the father of Linux. That's why the name comes Linux. Okay, the free Unix has swept the computer world by storm. So Linux, which is called as free Unix platform. Okay, so they have run a free software, that Linux, formerly Free for Software Foundation. They have made a organization which is called Free Software Foundation, which is formerly known as GNU. Okay. So a recursive acronym that stands for GNUS, not Unix. So many of the important Linux tools were written and supplied free by GNU. It is an open source operating system, so it is available for free. Okay. So that is what the end of chapter 1. Here we have seen the important topics, introductory part of Unix, how Unix commands works and all, how does it looks, how to operate with the Unix shell environment and all, how you have studied about the interactive shell environment with the Python in the same way, but command prompt is slightly different. Here dollar symbol appears, okay, and you need to remember the commands. This is important, like ls command, then echo command for printing, then calendar cal command. Okay, calc stands for calculator, that is different, that we'll be discussing later. Then date command. Okay, so date followed by month and year, that will give you the cal followed by month and year, that will give you the calendar of the particular month of the year. So these are the topics we have discussed. Then echo command is used for printing, right? So these are comes under the introductory part. So next, from chapter 2, we need to study about the Unix architecture. Yeah, this is what about the Unix architecture. So the entire Unix system is supported by a handful of essentially simple, though somewhat abstract concepts. The success of Unix, according to Thomson and Ritchie, lies not so much in new inventions, but rather in the full exploitation of a carefully selected set of fertile ideas, and especially in showing that they can be key to the implementation of a small and yet powerful operating system. The main thing or the main motto behind this, behind the implementation of this operating system, it is implemented for multi-user purpose. Okay, single system or operating system that can support for multiple terminals or multiple users. So hence it is called as the powerful one. So let us see the architecture of this operating system. So it has got two parts, kernel and shell. So in the subject, OS subject, you must have heard about these terminologies. Foremost among these fertile ideas is the division of a labor between two agencies, division of a work between two agencies, called as Kernel and shell. The kernel interacts with the machine hardware and the shell with the user. Very simple thing. A kernel is the core of the operating system. Okay, it belongs to the category of system software where all the peripheral components, or it interacts with the hardware configuration and hardware parts of the underlying machine. So based on the availability of the hardware, you can run the various softwares or install the various softwares over it. Okay, that comes under custom softwares, that comes under shell part. So shell will interact with user, but interaction with the operating system is done by the kernel. So the kernel is called as the core of the operating system, a collection of routine mostly written in C language. Here with respect to Unix operating system, the kernel, which is nothing but the core of the operating system, again a set of routines or set of programs which are mostly written in C language. So it is loaded into memory when the system is booted and communicates directly with the hardware. So user programs that need to access the hardware use the service of the kernel, which performs the job on the user's behalf. So these programs access the kernel through a set of functions called as system call. So interaction with the kernel that is done with by the help of a set of functions, they are called as the system call. Okay. So computers don't have any inherent capability of translating commands into action that requires a command interpreter. Command interpreter is the tool used to read the commands and translate it onto the machine language and take the necessary action. It is done by command interpreter. A job that is handled by the outer part of the operating system, okay, which is called as shell. So command interpretation is handled by that, because commands are entered by the user. So user system interaction that is established by an outer part of the kernel, which is called as shell. So outer part, inner part of the operating system or core part is called as kernel, and outer part is the shell which interacts with the user, which involves the command interpreter as well. Okay. Here is the example of a print command using the print command or echo command. Echo stands for printing. Okay, Sun Solaris will be printed. So next is about the file and the process. Two simple entities supports the Unix system is the file and process. Okay, one is called as file, other one is a process. A file is just an array of bytes and can contain virtually anything. And you must be knowing a file will be having a file name with a particular extension, right? So it's set of bytes, that's it. There is no such limitations at all. So it is also related to another file by being part of a single hierarchical structure in the file system, obviously. So you should be able to locate a file with reference to a predetermined place in a folders and all. Further, you as a user can also be placed at a specific location in this hierarchy of the file system, and you can also move the file from one place to other place. These are all the common things, common scenarios what you are doing along with your Windows operating system as well. So you are creating a file, right? You can modify the file for the first time. After creation, you will add some contents on it. Assume later on you will be saving the file. So once a file is saved, it will be stored in a location. It will be having a particular path. You must have observed that folder and all, or path for the folder and all, right? Later there is a provision to move the file from one location to other location. Even there is a provision to update the file, delete the file, and so on, right? Same thing is applicable for this operating system, Unix OS as well. Next is about the process. The second entity is the process, which is the name given to a file when it is executed as a program. Okay, process is the one. The same file is considered as a process when the file is being executed, because after execution you are going to see certain changes or results, right? So whenever the file is being executed, we call it as a process. That's it. Very simple concept. Definitions: process and a file. What is a process and what is a file? First you have to understand what is a file. A file is nothing but an entity which contains set of bytes, right? And it will be having a name followed by extension, optional, right? Various file operations can be performed. We can read the file, write the file, we can add, we can modify, I mean we can delete the file, we can move the file from one place to other place, right? We can locate them in the directory. So apart from them, we have one more term called as process. What is process? The execution of file is called as process. Okay. Next is about the system call. The Unix system comprising the kernel, shell and application is mostly written in a language, C language. Unix kernel, shell and application programs, most of them are written in C. Please remember. Though there are over 1,000 commands in the system, they all use a handful of functions. They are called as system calls. So system calls are mostly keywords, okay? Functions, keyword functions, they perform specific task. So these system calls are used to communicate with the kernel. From the shell, if you want to communicate to the kernel, what is to be done? You have to use a system call, appropriate system call as per your requirement. That's it. So shell interaction with the kernel. Whenever shell, because user can interact with the shell, from shell we can interact with the kernel. So interaction to the kernel can be done with the help of functions called as system calls. That's it. All Unix flavors have one thing in common. They use the same system call. So these system calls are described in the POSIX specifications, which we will be discussing later. Okay, all the operating systems will be normally having a system call. Okay, similarly, anyhow we are studying about Unix OS here, so its system call and all we are going to discuss. A typical Unix command writes a file with the system call. See the thing which is written in bold, WRITE is the word which is written in bold. This is the system call write, which performs the write action or write operation, okay, without going into the inerts that actually achieve the write operation. Okay, whatever it is, just remember a system called WRITE, which writes the content over to a file. Then you can, whenever you want to access the file, you can use a system called open, OPEN, this command or system call, which is useful for opening a file. Next concept is about the features of Unix. So that is all about the architecture. What we have discussed so far is about the architecture. Some definitions are there, okay, definition of kernel, shell, then the system call and all, process, file. So these things you need to remember. That's it. Next is about the features. So most important feature of Unix environment is it's a multi-user system, right? Single underlying operating system is sufficient to connect to a multiple terminal where multiple users can run different processes simultaneously. So multiple users can run separate job. A single user also can run multiple jobs. So both the ways it is considered as multi-user system.
it is multitasking also. A single user can also run multiple tasks simultaneously. This is earlier it was considered as the first feature, considered as multi-user. Multiple users can use the same underlying operating system, right, from different terminals. That is what multi-user in general. And multitasking is the one, the same person can run multiple, can execute concurrently multiple tasks. It is called as multitasking system. So it runs based on small is beautiful, that which, so the designers never attempted to pack too many features into a few tools. Okay, hence it is called as this operating system is called as smaller one, but the beautiful one. Small is beautiful based on the theory. About the Unix toolkit, next is about the Unix toolkit. By one definition, Unix represents the kernel, but the kernel by itself does not do much that can benefit the user. Kernel actually communicates with the operating system. This itself is the core. Okay, whenever shell wants to communicate to the kernel, it uses this system call. To properly exploit the power of Unix, you need to use the host of applications that are shipped with every Unix system. So these applications are quite diverse in scope. There are general purpose tools, text manipulation utilities, they are called as filters, compilers, interpreters, networked application, and system administration tools. Okay, and you also will be having a choice of shells. So this is nothing but the version of operating system. This tells about the various versions of operating system in general. So various options are available as per your requirement or user's requirement. We can go for it. So next is about the pattern matching. Unix features very sophisticated pattern matching features. So you listed the chapters of the text earlier using ls command. Just recall, we have considered there are 10 files with chapter chap01, chap02, chap03 up to chap10 in the previous example. So ls, what we did just to list the name of the file, we have used the ls command, ls, right, followed by chap of asterisk. Just recall, we have used that. So the asterisk symbol is the meta character, right? This is used for a pattern matching purpose. So this asterisk here represents, look for all the file name that starts with chap, first 4 letters. Later it can be anything. It is considered as pattern is matched, so the name will be displayed. So that comes under regular expressions. So various pattern matching characters will be using asterisk, plus and all, and parallelly you will be studying this in the higher semester as well. Okay, in system software also you will be studying about these things. About the next is about the programming facilities. So we can either interact directly to the shell using command prompt, or even we can write the files. Just recall your C programming or Java programming, we have used one Unix based operating system, Fedora, right? We have created a file, we have stored the file, then later on using commands we have compiled it, right? cc file name dot c in case, and dot slash a dot out, that is for checking the output here. For the C program, similarly for Java also, Java C program name dot Java, then Java followed by program name to check the output. Next is about the documentation. So Unix provides a command, man command, okay, for online help facility with the help of the man command. So all the configuration files details are provided. It is provided by Orally and Associates, developed by actually. So apart from online documentation, there is a vast ocean of Unix resources available on the internet. Okay, there are several news groups on Unix where you can fire your queries in case you are stranded with a problem. So in case of documentation, any documentation supports, most of the documentation supports done through online only. Okay. So various websites are available for any queries, in case of any queries, in case of any support requirements. Okay guys, that's it for this session. Let us continue our discussion in the next session. Please note down all these topics. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.